Welcome to Enter the Arena podcast. I'm your host, Randy Jackson. Ben Starzer is on here. He's helping me do this. This is all arena now. We've got arena team, which is my narrated lessons, arena captains, which are the leadership manuals, arena OVR, which is the new app. This whole podcast is about coaches, and it is about something you can use tomorrow. I got the biggest compliment the other day from a coach who said, one of my buddies asked me, what podcast should I listen to? And he said, man, you need to listen to the arena deal because Coach Jackson talks about how he wants there to be something a coach can use the next day. And literally there are. That's really what it talks about. And so I'm real proud of that. We're going to continue. That's always going to be the mission. But I want to dedicate this podcast, honestly, one of my college coaches, Bobby Kiesler. And he passed away yesterday. And Bobby Kiesler was not the head coach. This has affected me a little bit. And he was the defensive coordinator when I was at ULM. And I was a third string tight end. So I should have basically no feelings. And that sounds really harsh, y'all, but a third string tight end, other than I was a scout team guy, I guess I'm thinking, well, I guess that's really how I was with Coach Kiesler a bunch. But Coach Kiesler was special. He had the it factor. Do you have the it factor that when you see people, they believe they've made your day better because they got to see you? And Coach Kiesler had that gift. So here's a third string tight end from a small town in Texas. I'm sort of nothing. I mean, they probably would have liked to have my scholarship back. But he made me feel, I'm from this little town called Tenaha, and every day he saw me go, Tenaha, how's it going? He just had so much energy. And I think about which coaches do I know who had the it factor? Joey McGuire at Texas Tech has the it factor. When Joey was at Cedar Hill, and he was a big time 6A football coach, and I was coming up the ranks, and man, he barely knew me, and he would always make me feel like it was awesome that he got to see me. But he made everybody feel that way. Joey has the it factor, but Bobby Kiesler is the first coach I ever had that had that it factor. I've thought about him all day today because, man, how many kids like me did he make feel special when he didn't have to? They worked their tails off. Coach Kiesler, man, I appreciate everything you did for me. I want you guys at Brazos. So we've got Eric Luster in here, and he was my assistant head coach at North Forney, longtime friend. And I was really ready to retire before I did. And so I gave Coach Luster everything I didn't want to do, and he was awesome. You players at Brazoswood need to understand, when I think about which coaches do I know that have the it factor, Coach Luster has the it factor. Coach Luster, it's a gift, buddy. You are special. You make everybody feel like you're glad that you ran into them. I wished I had that gift. I go to a grocery store and I keep my head down, and if I can talk to no one, I'm happy. And you probably talk to people in the tomato section just because you're a nice guy. So, Brazoswood guys, be grateful because you have one. I know how many coaches you think I know, Coach Luster? 500?
Coach, 1,000.
I deal with coaches all over the United States, and Coach Luster has the it factor. You have a little Bobby Kiesler in you, and it's cool, man. My challenge to you guys coaching is make sure you have some Kiesler in you. Have some it factor. Make people's day better by bringing a little juice. And he always brought the juice. He always had a little joke. He was smiling, and it never seemed like it was that big a deal. We could be playing for the conference championship, And a third string guy who was on special teams, I'd be nervous before the game. And I might look at Coach Kiesler and he might look like he had just got through watching Seinfeld. He just had it that made everybody in a better mood. That's my challenge to you guys. Have some Coach Kiesler in you. Today, we're going to talk about the summer. And I got some guys on here to help me go to my website. Okay, so I decided to do a series of let's talk about the summer. And things have changed. So my evolution has gone from when I started in 1990, very few schools really lifted weights in the summer. We owned a pulpwood truck. And in the summers, we hauled wood. The weight room wasn't open. People just worked. We evolved, and the people who lifted weights in the summer got the edge. That was early 80s. By the mid 90s, everyone was lifting. And it's evolved over to programs. We used to hire the performance course, and they would come run our stuff. They were really good, and players would pay a little bit. They invested, and their mom might not let them sleep in because they had paid. And so it's really evolved the whole circle. But here is my heart right now for this is I used to worry so much about if I had 100 players, 3 that didn't show, and I didn't know where they were, ruined my whole day. Coach Lester, chime in on that. Do you remember how we would talk after workout of, well, where's Josh? Where's so-and-so? And it was no fun.
Coach, man, you made us hold our players accountable. So if Josh wasn't there, it's our fault. So we had to make sure Josh was there the next day. We had to go pick him up. You ask us a question, how do you not know where Josh is at? He's your player. That you're the head coach of that position. And so, man, we didn't want to disappoint you. So when you asked us where they were, it just kind of cut us to the soul that we didn't have an answer for you. So
yes, because it's everything, right? It's where's Josh? Josh is in our 2 deep. And we would tell our players, just to give y'all a little history, we would tell our players, let us know when you're going on vacation. We would try to put a calendar out before the summer, let us know, we'd write it down. But if Josh was a no-show, oh my God, y'all, it would ruin my day. And I think that made me a better head coach, but it made me a less happy person. So my thing to you now is, we're all going to have Josh, no matter where you are. Ben is in Denver. Mike is in Iowa. Metter's in Arkansas. And Metter now is at Shiloh Christian. And they're probably mostly going to come. I got, what percentage of attendance did we have at North Forney, Coach? Our 2 deep, the guys that we put our paycheck in their mouth.
Coach, I'm going to say 95% of our kids was there. We had a board, and we would call that board in to check it. But we knew, Coach, you're going to have that one junior going to his senior year, lineman, that he's a rod that was not going to show up. It's going to be one every year that busted their tail all through off season and all through spring ball. Then all of a sudden he does all this work and he doesn't show up in the summer because he thinks he's already on the team because he's a senior. It's always that senior that's going to wear you out.
Nick Saban said this one time. Coaches are the worst about worrying about the 2% and not telling the 98% good job enough. And I believe that 2%, or like Eric said, that 5% bothered me so much that, true story, one year, y'all, I got reassigned. And so in the summer, I was the AD. This is a story from my first book, but for you young kids at Brazoswood, just know I was an athletic director who got fired. And in the spring, they made me sit in ISS with the kids. All right, so it's a whole story. But I remember, so I was under contract. And in the summer, I remember as miserable as I was that I'd been fired, I remember playing golf thinking, I don't care who comes to summer workout. Even today, that was 30 years ago. I still remember that feeling of, well, I don't know what my career, I don't know where I'm going to be, but at least I don't have that worry of who's coming. So that's how much summer workouts bothers me. And the days of making them feel bad, I don't guess they're over. I think you still got to say something. You got to hold them accountable. The assistant coach needs to know where they are. You shouldn't have to know everything, but if your linebacker coach is worth his salt and Josh is a linebacker, he ought to know where he is. If Josh isn't communicating with anybody, then we have a problem. But here's where I've really shifted. Let's celebrate the 95% better than any other program in America. Let's celebrate the heck out of them. And that's where this summer playbook series started. The first 3 are on my website. The 4th one will be soon. So if you're listening to this podcast after May 20th, all 4 will be up there. But I'm going to talk about all 4 today. So Coach Luster, you've heard this one, and this is one of my favorite stories. Here's how I would do this. I did it on the first day of summer workout, but I've changed my mind a little bit. I would do it now, the last day you see them before they leave, between the end of school and 2 weeks before you start summer workouts, last day of the school year. And here's the story. It's about the old carpenter. Brazoswood is Columbia blue, and I'm going to get 50 keys, however many, and I'm going to spray paint them all Columbia blue. And I'm going to have them on the last day of school, and I'm going to tell this story. One time there was this old carpenter, and he was amazing. He was the best one in the company. The company had 12 main builders. It was in a major city, but Bob, the old carpenter, was number one. They gave Bob the mansions, the high maintenance clients. If they needed it done perfect, Bob got the assignment. Bob had been doing it 30 years, had grandkids, and he was getting tired. And so he went to the owners of the company and he said, hey, I've had enough. I'm ready to retire. And I just want to give you some notice, but honestly, it's time for me to go. And I said, Bob, I need one more favor. I got one more house I need you to build. And Bob said, okay. And so he gets the plans and they build the house, but Bob is ready to retire and his heart is not in it. So instead of Bob overlooking every detail, staying up at night, like he didn't, when Bob would go home, he would eat dinner and then he would communicate with subcontractors. Well, this last house, he trusted people. They'll do it. He didn't spend the money on the materials. He didn't know who the client was. And so he built the house, but his heart wasn't in it. And he didn't make sure everything was great. After 3 months, the house is built and he goes to his boss and he says, sir, listen, man, I've really had it this time. I've got to go. His boss hands him the keys and he says, Bob, you've been so amazing. That last house you built, that's yours. And Bob knew right then the mistake he had made because you can't go back and rebuild that house. I hope you guys from Brazoswood understand this story. He can't go back and fix all this foundation and all the things that he used to really be on top of. Coach Luster mentioned it a while ago. Anybody that's coached very long, there'll be a guy who'll be a starter and he had a great junior year and he gets a girlfriend or he gets a job or something. He loses motivation and just things aren't the same. And that's the guy who is Bob. So we talk about this at the last day of school, like, hey, when you show up in the summer, you're building your house. And when summer's over with, you got either going to get the key or not. Well, Coach Luster, do you remember us doing that at North Florence?
I remember that story, Coach. And I'll tell you, Coach, on my car keys, man, I got a link to a chain. and they're always forever linked to our program. We did stuff like that.
Yes.
But that story, coach, that I would tell that story and I would single out seniors. I don't want to see you cry on the last game. You did all this work. You had a great career. And now you're going to take off this summer going into it. And that the last game, because you didn't put enough work into it, that last game, we don't make the playoffs, and you're going to sit over here and cry now. It's the same builder. If you just would have put more work into it, I mean, you're building yourself a house of one more game. You're building yourself a house of maybe having a chance to go in and play college ball. You're building yourself a house that you leave a legacy at that school. Don't cheat because it's your last year.
Yeah. Coach, tell us who all these guys are.
Coach, these are my guys. These are my battalion leaders. These are my captains. We meet once a week, and you don't see it, but I feed them pizza, and we just talk. Today, Coach, man, we talked about what does sacrifice look like, and we talked about off of our mastermind that we did. They have never heard of that word, Medita. This group of guys have not heard the word Medita, and they talked about it, Coach. That when a coach celebrates them, or when another player celebrates them, it encourages them. So I had them all week long and find someone to encourage this week.
Yeah,
Coach, and the guys they encourage, Lyman is here, and he had to take a guy that's a senior coach who's not putting forth great effort right now, and he had to encourage that guy.
Guys, I'm an old line coach, and God bless you guys, but I want to know who the lineman is, Coach.
Coach, come here, Coach. Nathan, come over here.
Nathan, yeah, I can, yeah.
We're going to switch seats. Come over here.
Okay.
Switch seats. There you go.
The other kid who was sitting there looks like a receiver or something.
Yeah, he's a DB, Coach.
Yeah, And we gotta have you guys.
Yeah,
but the lineman,
that guy that gets that forearm tattoos.
Yeah, Nathan, tell us. This whole episode is about making players feel special, which makes you guys want to come in the summer. What is the best thing Coach Luster does to make you guys feel special where you want to be there when you don't have to?
Something Coach Luster does that makes us feel special is it doesn't matter if we're having a rough day. He's going to treat us all the same. He's going to encourage us all the same way. He doesn't pick favorites, and he treats everyone the same standard for everybody.
It's awesome. So you guys know what you're going to get every day, right? Any of you guys can answer this, but the best thing about Coach Luster, and this doesn't have to be, but you guys all know when you show up every day how Coach Luster is going to be, correct?
Yes, sir.
We talked about this. Tell them what we do at the end of the week to make y'all feel special. What's the one thing that we do at the end of the week of our summer program?
At the end of the week, the best one who performed gets a Whataburger gift card, and they get a chain, and they get all hyped up. Everyone hypes them up, and it's just a good feeling of, oh, I can do this, earn this place, and I'm going to go and get it next week. I'm going to strive to do it again. This makes you feel special.
Guys, there's a book that I tell everyone to read called The Power of Moments. And what I believe coaches should be doing for their players is giving them moments. So raise your hand if you've won the Whataburger gift card before.
These guys, Coach.
Really?
Not one of these.
Whenever you do, you'll remember that 30 years from now. Every time you pass by a Whataburger, you might think, man, I remember when I won that award. It's a big deal. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So Coach Luster, you inspired installation number 2 of the playbook, the vault. You don't call it the vault, but I like the term of it because we didn't do this. So this is totally something I'm just saying. When you talked about it on the podcast the other day, I thought that needs to be in the summer playbook. Here is a little bit of how I came up with the vault. It's all about attendance. What we're trying to do in this summer series is motivating kids to come to summer workouts. Number 1 was the story of build your house. And I think what we did at North Forney was if you came to, we'd give you 4 days off. So we had 6 weeks. And 6 times 4 is 24. Basically, you had to come to 20 of the 24 workouts to get a key. So you got something at the end of it. You got a key. Some guys put it on a little chain and hung it in their locker. But this next one is from Coach Luster, but here's my spin on it. We're going to reward attendance, and we're going to have different things in the vault. Every Thursday, if you've had perfect attendance that week, you would get a lottery ticket. You'd get a ticket, and we'd have a drawing, and depending on how much stuff was in the vault, you'd get something that was minor. Minor was mouthpiece. Gloves were medium. This is from Coach Luster. You can't go buy a different mouthpiece. You're going to wear whatever we give you. So we're going to buy some mouthpieces. What do they cost now, Coach? About $1? Regular mouthpiece?
The mouthpieces now, the ones I buy.
Yeah, $1. So we're going to give you $1 mouthpiece, but you can earn a nicer mouthpiece by showing up in the summer. Now, if a kid shows up all summer and just doesn't win the lottery, we're going to give him a stinking mouthpiece. All the stuff in the lower level of the vault, everyone's going to get eventually. And then after a month, halftime of the season, so for us, that would be 3 weeks. So after 3 weeks, we would have, so every Thursday, guys are getting the little stuff in the vault. Let me draw the winners. I'm going to see if I can remember what I put on tier 1. Tier 2 is at the end of June. And tier 2, now we're talking gloves, maybe a different face mask. I'm not big into visors, but some stuff. A little bit better. 3 to 4 weeks. Gloves, sleeves, compression, hats, visors, some team gear. Each week, you can get a drawing for the little things. At halfway, if you've made 3 weeks in a row, now you get to level 2 of the vault. And then at the end of the summer, we're going to have a big celebration. We're going to invite parents, alumni, booster club. We're going to make it an event. Everything should be an event, music. Anybody can come to the award ceremony. Let's say we're serving hamburgers. I'd probably pair this up with a parent meeting. So I'd want parents there. I'd want players like Coach Luster's leadership council to talk. But anyone that had perfect attendance, now they're getting tickets for the good stuff, the hoodies. You guys would tell us what would be in level 3 of the vault. I'm going to buy 12 new helmets a year. Now, that's when I was in 5A. Coach Luster, you might buy 18 in 6A, but those 12 helmets would go in the vault. We're not just going to give out. You have to have perfect attendance to earn. I'm going to buy some shoulder pads every year, because that way, if you don't buy shoulder pads for 5 years, then it takes your whole budget. Well, all that new stuff's going in the vault, and that stuff's going to be given on the celebration night. But Coach Luster gave me this idea. I had never done this before, but when you said, Coach, they can earn gloves, but they ain't going to buy their own. So tell me, Coach Luster, is there anything, my spin on this that you like? But tell us really how it works at Brazoswood.
Coach, my guys all agree. We celebrate our 100%ers right before we get back to school, and we call it Meet the Bucks. We call the whole team up right in front of all the parents. We wanted to make a big deal. Honestly, Coach, I want the parents whose son wasn't 100% to kind of feel bad about their son not being 100%er.
Totally agree.
I'm calling out the 100%. I can care less if you're a freshman. We call out freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors right up front. And we give them a certificate in front of everybody. One of the things that we do, Coach, as well, is everything that we get is customized. So you can't go buy it anywhere else. Last night, it kind of ties into it. We presented it out at a parent meeting, and I showed the parents exactly what your kid would get if they're a 100%er. I laid it out, Coach. If you go to a church camp for 4 days, that doesn't count against you. So faith, football, in school, if you go to a football camp, that doesn't count against you. If you tell me ahead of time, hey, Coach, my grandma just passed away for the 3rd time, I won't count that against you. So what we do, Coach, is after those 4 free days, all that starts to count against you. We've been here before where I had a kid that went to a camp a week. And after that, I had to start cutting it off. I'll give you 4 days. You can miss that. After that, coach, it's on us. All our stuff is customized. The gloves has a buck head on it. You can't get those anywhere else. The only way to get this stuff, you have to earn it. I don't go out and just buy white gloves because now I got to check kids' gloves all the time. The stuff that we got is all custom.
That's really smart. So do you do anything at the end of every week for perfect attendance?
We haven't, coach, I haven't said it, but we know, remember halfway point, we would buy hot dogs and grill out hot dogs for the guy with perfect attendance at the 3rd week mark. I haven't done it here because I'm just not starting to like these guys.
And again, my mindset is changing. So I believe this, coaches, if someone makes it 4 days in a row, that should be expected, but still take their picture. Hey guys, you guys that made 4 for 4, let's take a little group picture, post it. Anything you want to acknowledge, and what you celebrate, you replicate. I mean, fellas, it could be, now this is the next one. And so I guess I'll go to this, but at the end of every week, have something for them to eat. Okay, you made it all 4 days. Now, Nathan is right now, here's what's going through Nathan's brain, Coach Luster. Oh, this is a good idea. Like right now, Nathan's going, I think this Taco Thursday's not bad. This Coach Jackson, I've never met him, but yes, I like this. So at the end of all 4 days, if your parents would do it, ask your parents to bring up some food. And man, you had to make all 4 days to get it. It's because we all know the more we eat together, the more we bond. Such a believer in this. It's not that big a deal if a kid made 3 out of 4 days, but God bless you. I hope you make it next week. But there has to be something. I was more of that 5% who wasn't coming. Man, they were going to get talked to pretty ugly. And I'm still not going to be happy today, but we got to focus on watering the good grass. The analogy I like to use is a grass guy told me, if you have a few weeds in your football field, don't spray kill those few weeds. Water your really good grass and they'll overtake those weeds. So this stuff is watering the good grass. In the leadership council, you guys, okay, let's say this, fellas, because I like coaching. What if you guys made every Taco Thursday, but very few others did? Are y'all doing your job?
No, sir.
Like y'all, honestly, it's a given. Y'all are assistant coaches. Coach ought to be able to count on you just like an assistant coach. Your job is to see how many people, Coach Luster, how many leadership council, like have a contest of how many guys they bring to work out. How are they affecting the team? How many tacos did taco eaters did they make sure happened? I think you should have something. I've got a client in New Mexico, just took a new job, and they haven't been coming in the summer. What are you going to do? If you're listening to this, what are you going to do? Are you just going to go yell at everybody and get them to come? No, you got to make it where they want to be there. Find ways for them to want to be there. Get the parents involved. No one washes a rent car. So if you're giving a little bit of ownership in something, you got to inspect it. You got to make sure, but let the parents have a little ownership of this, and man, you might be surprised. So as anybody who's listening, Coach Sterrett or Coach Truitt, any of you guys, any celebrations before we go to the last one that you'd want to throw out there?
Coach, in the heat, my kids love popsicles. We just put them in a big cooler, and after obviously they killed it. Man, popsicles are a hit, and a lot of times we'll compete for popsicles. So if I got 100 guys, I make sure I buy 51.
That's awesome.
Because half the guys are going to get them, and we compete for them. So it's not a handout; it's an opportunity. Yeah. So my guys love it. We do a lot of different things for that.
That's a great idea. They're 2 cents a piece.
Exactly.
And you could have you do this daily?
No, we've done them on Thursdays primarily.
Okay.
I bet you daily would make it even better.
Nothing wrong with daily. It's like, okay, which coach can bring popsicles? Because it'd be a pain to have to bring popsicles every day, but you put your coaches on that or booster club or something. That's a really good idea. And I love how he's making them compete for it. Find ways to feed them at the end of the week. And here's the last one. Do you remember the awards we did at the end of the summer? And you came up with all the names because you're real creative. But we had the time clock award. Tell us about the awards at the end of summer if you can remember them.
I'm trying to remember. I know we had that one who just punched the clock, that just came to work every day. We had the Hay Bale Award. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah, we took a group picture and we had a guy in a Dickies work shirt, I think. And
just came to work, coach.
Yeah.
They were special. And then we had a transformer for one of the awards, a guy who changed right before our eyes. You always got that one guy that's kind of like my DB, that's really skinny. Then over the summer, he put on some muscle. He gets bigger. He changed right before our eyes. We did one to a guy. He was one of our top guys already. That's what's hard about some of these awards. It's like you want to give it to the guys who changed or the guys who show up every day, the guys who work. But how about that third guy who's also just as good? I remember our DC went out and found a rock in the middle of the street. And he brought that rock. This guy got the rock award because he's just solid. Solid guy. So we had all these awards, coach. I remember the Hay Award, the Rock Award, the Transformer Award, the guy that showed up every day, got the clock. He clocked in and went to work every day. We had all those awards. So coach,
we had a video game controller, right? You're going to be a game changer this year after your work.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And you came up with all like you're the best one at these. Really, y'all, this is my fourth one right here is have daily awards. But I think if I was going to do a fifth one, Eric, I could probably do that end of the season and do it with your parent meeting. So if you're doing the vault, I know no one's going to do every one of these, but if you have a vault, also have these awards. If you had a parent meeting and 12 kids are getting awards and one of them's getting a video game controller because you're saying, hey, you're going to be a game changer this year. They will keep that video game controller forever. That's an award. You paint it Columbia blue and it would go in the trophy case. So find a way to celebrate people. Here's the last one. And we did this, not enough, but this is how I've evolved. Our core values were Monday was juice. Monday can be the day people are grumpy and they wish it was still the weekend. So at the end of workout, have some kind of juice and have your players nominate who was the juice winner of the day. Who had the most juice? And whoever it is, give them that juice, take a picture with them, and they'll always remember winning that juice award. On Tuesday for us, Tuesday was competition Tuesday during football season. That was our harder day, but you can make sure Tuesday of your summer stuff is maybe when you're competing a little bit more. For us on competition Tuesday, I had a t-shirt for all the coaches and it said competition Tuesday and it had Rock'em Sock'em robots on it. And so you could get a Rock'em Sock'em robot on Tuesday after workout. Players nominate who competed the hardest, and they take a picture with the Rock'em Sock'em robot. On Wednesday for us was blue collar. And so you could either use a Dickies work shirt, you could do a time clock, but have a prop, have an award, tie it in with your core values. In Germany, I had coached guys I had a tight end that was 38 from Poland and 36-year-old center. Most of our guys were in the 20s. We did this stuff after practice and they loved it. I would say, okay, guys, who had the most juice today? And I would take their picture and we post it. And a 30-year-old wanted to be the juice winner. I learned that the 36-year-old wants stickers on the back of his helmet just like anybody else does. So find an award. Thursday for us was family. And that's a little tougher, but you could use a rope or something that holds everybody together. Again, be creative. Ask me for Coach Luster's cell number and I'll give it to you and he'll come up with something good. But have a daily award. And at the end of the summer, have some creative summer awards. Now, we did this, Coach Luster, and I guess this will take a while to talk about, but we had the big weigh-in.
Yeah.
And I got this from SMU, but we had a coach who dressed up like that. What's that guy's name, Eric? You'll know. Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy.
Yeah.
So
The guy that announces
yeah, the announcer guy.
UFC.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Get a coach who get like an old sports coat, cut the sleeves out, have him wear a bandana or something, but he's the Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy. Before summer starts, you test. And at the end of the summer, you test again and you celebrate everybody. And you do it by position group, but it's like a weigh-in, like a boxing match. There's scales up there. So Nathan was 245 at the beginning of the summer, and I know linemen are a little bit different, but he gained 10 pounds of good muscle, right? But the DB guys, the young guys, it's a big deal if you're gaining weight or not. And so you would weigh them, but we'd also have a deal behind them where it talked about how their maxes went up and their speed went down. And I mean, 17-year-old kid who works out for 2 months, they're going to improve. And so it was a big celebration. We called it the big weigh-in, but I wanted all these to be simple. I think they are. The vault is the only one that costs some money. And Eric, how do you pay for the vault?
Coach, my guys in this room, they coach a little league team and get sponsors, but every kid pays $45 to be part of that team. All that money comes back to my program. I have a mom and dad that runs it for me, and they're the ones who buy all of my incentive gear. They buy it out of that proceeds. So it's not coming out of my budget or anything. It's coming out of that legacy league is what we call it. We call it legacy league because these guys are leaving a legacy for that fifth and sixth graders. Coach, I'm going to add one more thing. Nathan, all these guys call Nathan the golden child because he's really good, Coach. But Nathan reminded me, Coach, you know what we do? We give a player a juice box here. But, Coach, you know who else is kind of like feeling tired and not very good on a Monday? Coaches. So we also nominate a coach, and we give a coach a 5-hour energy on that Monday as well. So we kind of added that to it because I want coaches to bring the energy. And these guys in this room will tell you, Coach, man, it's like our coaches get after it. And it's a big competition between offensive coaches and defensive coaches. And today, Coach, we went to our middle school today, and we scrimmaged in front of our middle school. And I took one of the Legacy League players, and these guys didn't even know it, and I gave that Legacy League player a gift bag, and I let him decide who won the day. And he picked defense, and I asked him why, because Coach, they had more energy than the offense. That hurt my coaches more than did the players.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because they compete. So that's one of the things that we do, but that's how we fundraise a lot of our stuff is my guys earn everything, Coach. So we're earning it by helping our community and by growing football here at Brazoswood. But you can say, does football matter here? And the answer is yes. Not only do we have a youth league, we also have girls flag football here. So, Coach, it's football everywhere here at Brazoswood.
Yeah. I'm just thinking in my head about how some programs today are doing it like we did it 30 years ago. You went to practice and you went home. You went to work out, you went home. 20 years ago, you went to weight workout, you went home. There's a lot of programs doing it like that now. I've always been one of those, let's make people feel special about being here. And again, I didn't have Coach Kiesler's that it factor of, honestly, before practice, I was probably thinking about practice. And I wished I'd had more Coach Kiesler in me. How can we celebrate players? Coaches, if they're just coming and working out and going home, man, figure out a way to celebrate them at the end of the day with some type of, we're going to nominate some kind of award. We're going to do popsicles every now and then. Find a way at the end of the week to celebrate them. But attendance, it's all about getting them to come and make it a celebrate when they do, because I just believe the teams that have the most come in the summer are the ones who are going to win the most games. That's why it always bothered me so much when my 5% wasn't there. Because if you're starting running back in there and no one knows where he is, that kid might fumble it on fourth down. That's just how it works. You got to be able to count on them, but let's celebrate them for it. I mean, who cares if that running back's coming and he don't really want to be there? It's still better than him not being there. And find a way to celebrate. Anybody have anything you want to say before we close this one out? You guys at Brazoswood, what does Coach Luster do that we haven't talked about that you think coaches around the nation should be doing?
I got one guy to raise his hand, and I want to say this to all the coaches, man. When I got here, Coach, all I heard about was we got players here in our middle schools, but they don't come to Brazoswood. They go to this school, this school, this school. So, you know, Coach, I'm a problem solver. So I wanted to solve problems. So we made this place special, Coach. We go down to our middle schools. We go down and we scrimmage in front of our middle school. We do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Coach, everything that we do here is to make our guys, we're going to work hard, Coach, and we're going to get beat up. You're going to be sore. But they're also going to tell you, man, and this is my opinion, I played football because I loved it. I loved football. And I knew if I didn't play football, I wasn't going to get out of Coral, Texas. These guys, man, they play football because their coaches love them. And they know that we love them. And so that's why they come here. Our community knows if you come play for Brazoswood, your son is going to be loved. So I'm going to get out of the way. Kieran, Coach, the guy with the forearm tattoos, going to talk.
Yeah. Millie Vanilli hair? Is that right or not?
Okay. That's it, yes.
During the season and during our boot camp little session, Coach Lester mentioned earlier, like, nothing's given, everything's earned. So we'll have a little battle, whether that's sock wrestling, any type of physical sport, combative. And he mentioned it multiple times around the group. Like, if we have a sled pull or whatever, if you had a heavier guy and a smaller guy on this side, it's obvious the heavier guy is going to win. When it comes to the sock wrestling, it's technique and heart. You could be small, but if you're a dog, you're going to go get no matter the size.
Yeah.
When this happens, whoever wins gets the luxury of going into the varsity locker room. So it's ranking up, right? So you start in JV locker room. Everybody starts in the JV locker room. You're building yourself up, earning it. You go out there. You want to get in the varsity locker room? Earn it. Simple as that.
That's awesome. Doesn't that feel good, fellas, that you have to earn things versus your friends who don't?
It does.
That's so cool, man. Kieran, you're my second favorite right now. I mean, Nathan is Nathan, okay? And it's sort of unfair. Like, it's an insurmountable lead because he's big and a lineman, but you're a solid number 2.
They'll catch that joke later, Coach.
Coach,
I'll say this too.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, he caught it. He just caught it.
No, Kieran, I'm sorry, man.
Hey.
They just caught it.
Kieran, I miss kids, man. So this is so fun to me. We need to have these guys back, Coach, and talk about the locker room. I'm thrilled to get to talk to you guys. Y'all added a lot to the podcast today because it's easy for anyone who's on here to sense that you guys are made to feel special and you're going to come this summer and be celebrated. And that's what this whole episode is about. And now the locker room thing, I think that is a different spectrum. That's more Dragon Ball Z, right? Like you got to defeat somebody to get in that thing. And so that would be a great episode too, Coach.
As soon as you defeat them, Coach, you're dead tired. So what I ask you to do after that?
Yeah, outside the creed.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Because I don't want them worried about being fatigued. I still want them focused. That should be on their heart. That creates something they know. And I only posted it twice. So it's on them to learn it, Coach. I'm not telling them to learn. I'm not begging them to learn it. If they want in, if it matters that much to them, they're going to find it and they're going to learn it.
So how many guys are in the varsity locker room now?
Because they don't know. It's about 16, Coach.
Okay, that's okay. Is it over, Coach, or will y'all keep doing it this summer?
But we're going to keep doing it because right now, with spring ball going on, we have a hard time finding time to do it. So usually we do it on Wednesdays and on Fridays. But spring ball is over, so we might try tomorrow some. It's just that, man, we kind of put that to the side so we get some extra things. It's going to continue in the summer.
If I leave this part in the podcast, move them all out of the varsity locker room and have them compete. We always waited 6 or 7 weeks before And we would pick 2 guys out. Somebody'd win 2 out of 3 combatives, and whoever won, they went into locker number 1 of the varsity locker room. We called it the elite locker room. No one has a chance to go to the elite locker room. Let's say Kieran is number 1, and Coach Luster's going to go ask Kieran, who do you think should be the next ones to compete to get in here? Because the players know if somebody's a fraud or not. The players know what they're doing away from the building. Is that how y'all do it, Coach?
Yes, sir. So we get 2 guys, and then 1 guy gets in. Then I ask the next guy, who do you think?
Yeah.
And so now we try to get about 2 or 3 guys, maybe like six guys together. Only 3 get in. I love it, Coach. So we have a whole separate locker room, and I love that there'll be a guy always trying to get in who don't belong. Those guys will run them out.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh,
Right, they don't get to hang out after school. Or
And
no.
Coach, here's the great thing about these guys too, is that I give them the power to enforce who's practicing right now. Like Nate will pull a right guard out and replace him with someone else that's not going hard.
It's awesome.
My quarterback, he has every right to jump the center's butt for a bad snap.
All right, now hang on now, guys. This is a different podcast, but this is really interesting. Most players would not do that. Does it take courage to tell someone you're not going hard? Because that's a very rare thing for a peer to tell another, a teammate.
Why do we do it, Nate?
We do it because it's a standard we were built up by.
What happens if that right guard goes, man, screw you? What happens then? Maybe that's never happened.
It doesn't happen. They understand that if their teammate is coming to them telling them that they're not giving the effort we need to be successful, then they should be taken off.
Nice.
Here's the reason why that happens and why they have that right to do it, because my coaches are so competitive and they don't want to let their coaches down, and they're not going to allow this guy to let that coach down. The coach might not say anything because he's coaching technique and he's doing all these things. He might not focus on this, but these guys knows who's playing hard next to him. And defensive guys are over there yelling, screaming, they're cheering. And these guys hate to hear the defensive guys, or they hate to hear the offensive guys cheer. So they have that right to tap somebody, coach, get him out, get him out. And I don't want to, you know how it is, coach. Everybody can yell at the center, bad snap, bad snap.
No way.
But the only one that can tell him, coach, bad snap is the quarterback, because it affects the quarterback more than it affects me. So he'll go get on the center. He also has the right to go into that guard too, because that guard missed the block, which made him get sacked. And so my question to him is, you going to just allow it to happen, not say anything? So they're empowered, coach, to speak up when things ain't right. If I don't give them that power, then why do I have captains?
But you must also talk about this in team meetings, right? When someone says something to you, we have to learn how to give and take it. Do you talk about both sides of it?
Even today, coach. So I had a receiver not fist to chin. He fumbles the ball, and I'm losing my mind till he fumbles the ball. And he wants to tell me I was down, coach. I was down.
Oh, no.
Yeah, coach, I lost it. Now, I can care less that you thought you were down. You fumbled the ball, and I have the right, coach, as a coach, to decide if it was a fumble or not. I'm the head coach. I pushed him back because he fumbled. I don't care if he can lay on the ground. I can care less. You fumble my ball. You don't do that. So we have a saying here. What do we say, guys? Bucks don't beat Bucks. A fumble will get us beat. I got another guy, he plays a position, coach. The position that's really important to us in our offense, the pipe wrench. That guy crosses his face, and he's pushing him down the line of scrimmage. And I'm jumping his butt. He's telling me, coach, my job is to block him down. I'm like, that's not a block. That's you getting beat. So my guys hear me getting on the guys. So by me getting on to them and by me not accepting it, they're not going to accept it. And I don't care who you are. We're going to do things the right way here. That's my way.
Love it. Y'all, it's been so fun. Thanks for everyone who joined us, but especially the Brazoswood Leadership Council. Y'all are studs. So fun to be with players, and thanks for your participation. Y'all, I just want to say this one more time. Y'all won the lottery. You got a coach with the it factor. He just has that special gift it made his day. He got to see you. So you're so lucky to get to be coached by him. Appreciate it, guys. Coach, we'll talk about that varsity locker room in another episode, but
I invite him back.
thanks for everyone who joined, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for entering the arena, and make your guys feel special for being in the weight room this summer.